Hi, Bec.
Hi there, Amit. Really
How
lovely to
is
see.
it?
I can't believe it's December.
Oh, yes, end of the year, end of the year.
I know. And I think it's a really great time to, we're all really great when we can wrap up the end of the year when we did a really great job. But I think this topic comes in really great time. And that's why we wanted to talk about this. It's been a really hard year for a lot of people. And so, how do we wrap up the year when it didn't go so well?
Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. In fact, I've been talking to a lot of business leaders, and they have been mentioning that, yes, 2023 has not been quite a year that they were expecting. It was slow, and even their budgets, they couldn't meet. Some companies couldn't even meet their forecasts. So, yeah, quite a challenging, tough year. And Beck and I both can really feel how you feel. So,
Absolutely.
and that's the reason we thought, why don't we have our live show with this topic today, where we can be with you, we can share what we can do going forward, and maybe it adds value to you and your business going forward. So, Beck, what would you advise?
Absolutely. Kind of start off with reflect on where you've been and reflect on the year with a whole lot of compassion. To take a moment to really acknowledge what it is that you've done, the challenges that you've faced for this particular year. Reflect on that journey because boy, wasn't it a journey. Even coming off the end of our lockdowns, etc., it was a really busy time for all of us with maybe not the outcomes that some of us always wanted. So make sure along the way that you are celebrating some of those small victories that you have got. And also, learn from those experiences that you've got. But remember, setbacks aren't failures, they're just stepping stone towards growth. So reflect with compassion would be my top note.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think reflecting is super critical, but even more important is that you reflect with compassion, because if you're being hard on yourself, your team, your colleagues, your business mates, your partners, you're really going to break it. So it's important that reflect, but reflect with compassion. How about reassessing the goal? I
Mm.
have been I mean, being a corporate leader in sales and marketing, I have been there, done that, and seen that in several years we have really exploded and went past our budget. But there were years where we were barely scrapping the budget, hardly meeting it, and there were years where we really did not make it, and it was those years that gave us the learning how to really move forward. So when we reflected, and of course with compassion, we reflected and we realized that one of the reasons for not meeting the budget or the goal or anything that you set in your life was to reassess and see if the goal was right. Were
Right.
you over expecting, over budgeting, or you were just being very optimistic that it will be a great year from commercial or from personal standpoint, and there will not be any barriers. Look at today's time and age. The whole world, the global world, is going through so much of change at rapid pace. Examples could be COVID-19, where things completely change. So it's important that we factor in what's happening in the world that can impact our business, that can impact our life if the goal is in our personal lives or our leadership roles, whatever it is. It's important to factor in what's going to be externally and internally impacting the goal that we are trying to set. And let's be realistic. Let's not over budget and under deliver. And on the hindsight, I've seen some of the teams under budgeting so that they can meet their goals in any way. But that even
You're
that's
on
not
point.
good.
Yeah.
That's not good. So as a leader, Yeah. As a leader, it's our responsibility, in fact, to be working very closely to see what is that stretch goal, what is that stretch budget in terms of revenue that could
Right.
be achieved with a little bit of an extra work or more teamwork, and also what could be the external or internal factor impacting the business. So consider them, reassess your goals, set it right for 2024, and we are sure you will be able to make it. You have it in you, you will do it.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
love
think,
that.
Beck?
And, not only the goals need to be revenue based, but the goals could also be, a new business target base that then feeds into revenue. And of course, when we're reassessing those goals, don't forget, I think, I mentioned it before, but celebrating these achievements along the way. I think that everybody can agree with this, that morale has been tough to keep really high and going. Salespeople, managers, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're having a tough year and you can't keep yourself motivated, it's really difficult to kind of keep going. So, even if it's a challenging year, or even if it's not a challenging year, kind of really celebrate those accomplishments. I can't even speak. Celebrate those accomplishments that you have made throughout the year, throughout the quarter, throughout the semester, whatever it might be, whether they are big or small. And I think it's really important coming out of COVID-19. We're not coming out of it, it's always going to be here. But coming out from our lockdowns of COVID-19, I think the way that we do business, the way we manage our teams is going to be different. Celebrate those victories. It really helps to boost morale, but it also sets a really positive tone towards the future.
Wow, that's powerful, Beck. In fact, a lot of leaders ignore this fact of celebrating small wins, thinking because their aim is on the bigger goal, the final goal that they're going to achieve. So they think until we reach to that point, the end goal, they are not going to celebrate. But then that is something that's not correct. If you keep celebrating small wins, even now by end of the year, if you reflect and celebrate those small wins across the whole year that you and your team were able to achieve, that will boost the morale of the team and for you, and that will help you go really well in the coming year. And with that, I feel like reflecting on the next thing which is important is to learn and adapt from what's been happening, not just this year, if this year was bad, but also on the past couple of years, where reflect and see what those things that you and your team did that made you achieve your goals and your targets, or what all those factors that came in, or what happened in the team that made you really slow down and not achieve your goals and target. So reflecting on that, learning from them and adapting, if you list all those down, the positives and not so positive ones, and then see how you can amplify the positive ones and adapt innovatively, creatively in the areas where you were not able to perform well, will actually help you be completely prepared when you are actually facing those situations where you were not able to do it in the past. Then you will immediately have those innovative strategies in place to overcome that, and you will see yourself coming out successful by end of 2024.
I like it. As you talk, it makes me think of the saying where boats were not built to sail in safe harbors. And as we're reflecting on what we've done in the past, it can kind of set ourselves for the future. I really like that. It just really rings true when you're talking. I love it. I love it. I
Thank
like to
you.
think about practicing self-compassion. And I think in today's day and age, it is perfectly okay to be kind to ourselves. Really understand that every single one of us faces ups and downs throughout the year, throughout the years, throughout the week, the months, whatever it is. And instead of dwelling on what you didn't do and go to plan, focus on self-care, really nurturing a positive mindset. I think that's really important because you
Wow.
deserve understanding and compassion. And we all can't be 100% of the time. For me, as soon as I see the water, I am back in my happy place. So I like to take the dogs for a walk along the water's edge, or take them to the dog beach and let them run free. And it just does incredible things for my mind and my heart when I practice this self-care for me. How do you practice self-care, Amit?
Wow. That's something which is so powerful, Beck. It's so
Yeah.
powerful because, and I've been a victim of it when I was not practicing self-care. So very early on, when I was a first-time leader, a new leader, just a few years in the leadership role, and I was such a go-getter that I was ignoring myself, my health, and about caring about myself because I was just looking at my targets, my goals, my business, and that started to deteriorate my health because I was not taking care of myself. And what happened is that I was sick for completely for 2 months, and I lost a lot of intentions, business, and my team's morale went down during that time. So and that was a big learning from the mistake that I made. So I wanted to share this story with you so you can maybe learn from this, and you still have time to start practicing self-care for yourself.
Thanks, Amit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you.
And I think it's also important to set realistic intentions. What happens is that not just you as a leader, but for your team as well, whatever you are setting on as your goal, your target, have all of your team members buy into that. Because if everyone in the team has not got the intention to work towards that goal, the target, or the budget that you want to achieve, it's very, very, very hard, especially in this ever changing world when external factors impact our business. It can impact any time and make us stand still for, let's say, 2 months or 3 months, and then you have to regain our pace. So it's important that we set realistic intentions for whatever we are aiming to achieve. And if not, it's going to be the repeat of 2023.
Ah! Don't say that. You know,
Sorry to mention.
that I think that what you say just makes so much sense, and I think following from that, connecting with others. A problem shared is a problem halved. Share those experiences with your friends or your family, or a supportive community that might be like-minded business people, or a mentor mastermind group, or even a mentor or a coach, as we've spoken about in past The Power of Twos. Sharing these and connecting with others not only provides you with emotional support, but it also offers a really diverse perspective from these other people that can truly inspire new ideas, new approaches, new opportunities. But don't keep it quiet. Connect with others and share that love and experience. I'm feeling very hippie love today, but but it is about not keeping quiet and suffering that end game that you didn't achieve, but instead find support and find your tribe and work with them.
Oh my God. I think that is so, so, so powerful because some of us who have not been able to make or achieve their goal or their revenue targets or whatever you have set for yourself this year, it could be really damaging your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-confidence. And if you don't take help or at least share with people who you feel comfortable. It could be a coach, it could be a mentor, it could be your wife, it could be your husband, it could be your grown-up kids, or it could be that real good friend. You will feel so much more relieved, and you will start to immediately think of those creative ways to get back on track, because targets are set for a specific period of time, but that's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the life. We have many more years to come, and we could be late, but we can still achieve it. Right?
Absolutely. Amit. The other thing is, as adult learners, if you like, we are either audible learners, visual learners, or kinesthetic learners. And most of us, the majority of the human race, visualize really well. If they can see it, then they can achieve it. And I think to kind of end out today, my advice is create a vision board of what it is that inspires you, to motivate you, to get you to your goals, whatever it looks like. When I set out my business originally, I had a vision board, or I have a vision board. And there's only one thing left on that vision board that I haven't got. And that's okay. I'm chipping away and I'm working at it. And I will get that because I can see it. It's sitting right there. I can see it. I can visualize it. But also I've seen all of the other things that I wanted to achieve. And of course, I adapted it. Going into COVID, I adapted that because it was going to look very, very differently. But when my vision board is achieved, I then start a whole brand new one because life just keeps developing. Put it right in front of you where you see it at your desk or beside your bed. That's strange. I don't know why I said that. But somewhere that is prominent that you will see it every day. Maybe it's small enough that it's on your mobile phone. Maybe it's a file that sits on your desktop, whatever it might be. And your version of a vision board will look very different to mine. But kind of set a daily reminder to achieve and to chip away something that will bring that vision board to life.
Wow, Beck, that's so powerful. And when you were sharing, I got reminded of, it could be funny, I got reminded of one of my friends in Dubai. And when I went to visit him 2 years ago, and I was surprised that his vision board was in his washroom when he was.
He's going to go there every day, isn't he?
Yeah. And while doing that, while sitting in there, he used to be reading his vision board items every day. And I see him so successful, being aligned with the vision board. And it's okay if one of those action items that you've not been able to achieve, pass it on to the next year. And that's one big learning that I had, is that we take our annual goals so much seriously that sometimes it becomes a barrier in achieving them, because we have to think from a perspective that yes, we break down our annual goals and try to achieve it per year, but it's okay if you are not able to achieve from Jan to December. How about you achieve it in Jan, Feb, March next year? It's the whole life that you are left with. Why are you so hooked up to, oh my God, I've not achieved this by end of December. I had promised myself, I worked towards it, but somehow life happened and I couldn't achieve it. And that's the reason many companies these days are planning, of course, for annual goals, but then they have 3 years goals and they have 5 years goals. And they see when one of those items are not achieved in the annual goal, they put it in their 3 years goal. The 3 years goals, if something that has not been achieved, they move it to their 5 years goal, because they have a long-term vision. They have a long-term plan. They know that the business is for eternity. They know that they plan even, there are some companies who plan even 100 years out. because they have such a huge legacy that they don't want to think of 1, 2, or 3 or 5 years. They think really, really far out. And it's okay if the annual goals are not achieved, some of it. There could be reasons, there could be situations, life happens, just reflect on them, as Bec mentioned, and prepare for that for coming year. The issue will be that if we don't reflect and we don't prepare for what may come in our way next year, then it will be a problem. But with we hope that you will be able to predict that, plan for it creatively, and go for it next year.
Yeah, and changing that cycle, if you didn't achieve the target this year or your budgets this year or your goals this year, if you don't change what you're doing, all you're going to do is just keep repeating that cycle year over year over year. When I'm working with clients with sales training, my plan is that you're all going to make your target by September. And therefore, that last quarter of the year is top up, is attrition, whatever it might be. And you just then start stretching your goal. And then, of course, greatness happens from there in a really great world.
Absolutely.
So embrace your journey, set your positive mindset, and you'll actually find that you'll be well prepared for really exciting possibilities with whatever the next year holds. So, on that note, I'd like to say thank you, Amit, for The Power of Two was born from you. And I want to say thank you for a really successful 2023. I really look forward to continuing this amazing journey with you in 2024.